my YouTube channel, my online classroom channel. And today in this video, I'm going to show you the class 10 social science civics chapter 2 federalism. So here in this notes, I have mentioned all the important headings of the chapter which is be important for your exam, and only these headings if you are going to prepare, I hope you will get good marks in your exam. So see, first of all, under the notes, you have to mention the introduction, and under the introduction, you have to write, in this chapter, we will study the federalism system, its features, roots, and the concept of decentralization. Move to the next heading, it is meaning of federalism, because chapter name is federalism, so of course the meaning is very important. And this question is going to be come in your exam for one mark. So it is very important. So let's know what is the meaning of federalism. So federalism is the system of government in which the power is divided between a central authority and various constituent units of the country. Let's move to the next heading. It is also very important heading of the chapter, which is coming in exam for 3 marks questions. Difference between unitary and federal government. So what is the difference between here? First of all, the unitary government. Under the unitary system, either there is only one level of government, or the subunits are subordinate to the central government. The central government can pass on orders to the provincial or the local government. Next, move to the federal government. The central government cannot order the state government to do something. State government has powers of its own for which it is not answerable to the central government. Both these governments are separately answerable to the people. Next main heading of the chapter, it is features of federalism. So let's see what are the main features of federalism. First point, there are 2 or more levels or tiers of government. Second point, different tiers of government govern these same citizens, but each tier has its own jurisdiction in specific matters of legislation, taxation, and administration. Third point, the jurisdictions of the respective levels or tiers of government are specified in the Constitution. Fourth point, the fundamental provisions of the Constitution cannot be unilaterally changed by one level of government. Such changes require the consent of both the levels of government. Move to the fifth point. Here, the fifth point it is, courts have the power to interpret the Constitution and the powers of different levels of government. Point 6. Sources of revenue for each level of government are clearly specified to ensure its financial autonomy. 7 point. The federal system thus has dual objectives: to safeguard and promote unity of the country while at the same time accommodate regional diversity. A part of all this, the federal system has 2 aspects. First, it is mutual trust and agreement to live together. Next, move to the main headings. It is 2 routes of federalism. So different countries follow different routes of federalism. So main 2 routes we have. First, it is coming together federalism, and second, it is holding together federalism. Come to the coming together federalism. This question will be come for 3 marks, and here are the main points. First point, it is the first route involves independent states coming together on their own to form a bigger unit. Point 2, so that by pooling sovereignty and retaining identity, they can increase their security. This type of coming together federations include the USA, Switzerland, and Australia. All the constituted states usually have equal power. Move to the holding together federalism. So under this first point it is, the second route is where a large country decides to divide its power between the constituted states and the national government. Point 2, India, Spain and Belgium are examples of this kind of holding together federations. The central government tends to be more powerful versus the states. Last point, some units are granted special powers. Next, move to the next heading. It is what makes India a federal country. First, it is we are following some different lists here, and under those lists some subjects have been mentioned. So here first of all union list, and here total 97 subjects. First point, it includes subjects of national importance such as defense of the country, foreign affairs, banking, communications and currency. Next point, they are included in this list because we need a uniform policy on these matters throughout the country. Next point, the union government alone can make laws relating to the subjects mentioned in the union list. Next, state list, total 66 subjects are here. It contains subjects of state and local importance such as police, trade, commerce, agriculture and irrigation. Second point, the state governments alone can make laws relating to the subjects mentioned in the state list. Move to the concurrent list. Here total 47 subjects, and its first point, it includes subjects of common interest to both the union government as well as the state governments such as education, forest, trade unions, marriage, adoption and succession. Next point, both the union as well as the state governments can make laws on the subjects mentioned in this list. Next point, if their laws conflict with each other, the law made by the union government will prevail. Next heading, it is residuary list, and here the topics which is related to information and technology, communication related topics are be mentioned in this list. First point, it is subjects that do not fall in any of the three lists, the previous list, that is union list, state list and concurrent list. So those topics were not mentioned on those three lists are going to mention in this list which is known as the residuary list. Subjects like computer software that came up after the constitution was made. Next, the union government has the power to legislate on these residuary subjects. So finally, who is having the responsibility here? So union government is going to look after the work of the residuary list subjects. Next, move to the how is federalism practiced. So in India, linguistic states, first subheading we have under this main heading, how is federalism practiced. First point, the creation of linguistic states was the first and a major test for democratic politics in our country. Second point, in 1947, the boundaries of several old states of India were changed in order to create new states. This was done to ensure that people who spoke the same language lived in the same state. Third point, some states were created not on the basis of language but to recognize differences based on culture, ethnicity or geography. These include states like Nagaland, Uttarakhand and Jharkhand. Come to the next heading, and it is language policy. So, first point, our second test for Indian Federation is the language policy. Our constitution did not give the status of national language to any one language. Second point, Hindi was identified as the official language, but Hindi is the mother tongue of only about 40% of Indians. Third point, therefore, there were many safeguards to protect other languages. Besides Hindi, there are 21 other languages recognized as scheduled languages by the Constitution. A candidate is in an examination conducted for the central government positions may opt to take the examination in any of these languages. States too have their own official languages. Much of the government work takes place in the official language of the concerned state. Next heading, center-state relations. Restructuring the center-state relations is one more way in which federalism has been strengthened in practice. Second point, this meant that the state governments did not exercise their rights as autonomous federal units. Third point, as and when the ruling party at the state level was different, the parties that ruled at the center tried to undermine the powers of the state. Next, move to the next point. In those days, the central government would often misuse the constitution to dismiss the state governments that were controlled by rival parties. This undermined the spirit of federalism. There should be equal distribution of power among the various levels of the government. Next, when a single political party does not get majority of votes after the election, then this political party join their hands with other political parties to form government. It is known as coalition government, and from here 1 mark question is coming many of the times, that what do you mean by coalition government. Next, move to the decentralization heading, and here 1 mark question will become about the definition of this topic, and 3 marks question as well as 5 marks question will become related to the Decentralization Act of 1992. So let's first of all understand what is the meaning of decentralization, which is be given in the first point. When power is taken away from central and state governments and given to local government, it is called decentralization. At village level, we call it Gram Panchayat, and in urban areas, it is known as municipality and municipal corporation. A major step towards decentralization was taken in 1992. The constitution was amended to make the third tier of democracy more powerful and effective. For this purpose, some points have been written here, which was be mentioned under the Decentralization Amendment Act in 1992. First, now it is constitutionally mandatory to hold regular elections to local government bodies. Second point, seats are reserved in the elected bodies and the executive heads of these institutions for the scheduled castes and scheduled tribes and other backward classes. Third point, at least 1/3 of all positions are reserved for women. Fourth point, an independent institution called the State Election Commission has been created in each state to conduct panchayat and municipal elections. Fifth point, the state governments are required to share some powers and revenue with local government bodies. The nature of sharing varies from state to state. So I hope you have understand that how you have to write the notes of this chapter 2, Civics Federalism. So thank you everyone, and please like, share, subscribe this channel for more updates.